Hi there. This week I'm doing a Valentine page. This is my Project Life page for the week, even though the photos were taken over 2 or 3 days rather than the whole week. The emphasis of the week was really Valentine's Day and things we were doing to prepare for it and things that we enjoyed on that day. I have a photo collage that I'll be sharing with you that I've done in a heart shape, and that may sound tacky. It's not. It looks really nice. The photos are in black and white, and I'll show you how I went about doing that. My other products for today, I've got this paper from My Mind's Eye. I think this may have been last year's Valentine's collection. I typically buy my holiday papers on sale because I don't do a lot of those kinds of layouts, and I look for things like this one that could have been used for anything. This really wouldn't have had to have been Valentine's Day. This has got a lot of versatility to it. I have some other older products, these bloomers from Webster's Pages that I thought would be really pretty with it. Because the photos are in black and white, I can really bling this up and I won't have any conflict with the pictures. With some glitter stickers, I have these tickets from Making Memories for another older Valentine's Day collection. Vellum is really popular now, so I'm considering doing, and I've always loved it, and I'm considering doing my journaling on vellum. And one of the tricks I learned from Nicole McGuirk's videos is if you lay vellum down and it doesn't show up enough, just use 2 layers of it, and you'll still be able to see some of your pattern through the back. So that's what I'm looking towards the journaling. The other option I have is this journaling block, but I think that's going to be a little bit too much contrast, so I'll probably do the vellum. When I was looking for vellum and I was looking at some of my specialty papers, I found this gray paper from Fancy Pants' Fluxed Transparency. I've had a long time, and I think I'd like to work some of that in too to add a little drama to it, and there was a sticker that went with that collection. So those are some of the things that I have to work with today. So let's get started on the page. The heart-shaped photo collage portion of the page was created using Photoshop Elements and the Cricut. Please see the separate video creating a heart-shaped photo collage for more information on this step. And we'll now continue with the rest of the page. I've printed my journaling out on some glittery, well, not exactly glittery, but shimmery, I'll say, vellum, and I hit it with the heat gun very lightly over the top so it would help dry the ink, because the ink doesn't dry all that fast on vellum. Run over it with the embossing buddy, and now I'm taking a Versa marker because I have a little better control with this than I do with the Versamark pad, and I'm just putting it on the very, very edges, and then I'm going to use some silver embossing powder. Gives a little bling to my journaling. I've laid out my papers and my photos and a few things here on my page. I trimmed my main paper down an inch, and I'm laying this strip of black underneath, and I'll glue these together. I typically put extra papers like this, well, I don't always put them underneath, but I think it will look better in this case since this has some dimension to it to put the black underneath. And also it will save me a strip of this. Rather than covering it up, I cut it off so I can use that maybe as a border on another page. And I haven't glued anything down. I'm just laying some things out to see how stuff is going to look. Let's add our journaling under here. Yeah, I like that. I like the silver on it. I still may add a little something to the bottom. Thinking about that, I'm not sure. I have these tickets that I've picked out a couple of those, and I've got one over here considered putting some of this ribbon on this side too, but I think it's going to be too much. I'll try that, but I think it'll be too distracting because it's a really busy ribbon, or a very bold ribbon, I should say. If you were doing this with something a little softer, flatter ribbon, you might want to repeat a piece over here. Bold. But what I think I will do when I get my letters in here, I may use one of these little asterisks to carry that color across. I haven't put all this stuff down because as I started laying it out, I think that I need some stitching. So I think I'm going to take this to the machine and do some stitching here, and then I can start working on my title and the final embellishments. Okay, just getting some stuff placed, and I'm ready to put some of my embellishments down. I've been taking the art class at 2Ps, and the instructor Wilna uses hot glue a lot. And I have to tell you, I've never been a big fan of hot glue because I always seem to get it everywhere. But about a month ago I did that accordion flower tree, which is here on a YouTube video and on my blog, and I used a lot of hot glue, and it was essential for what I was doing, and I got a little bit better at it, and I don't make quite so much mess. And I can appreciate the value when you're doing something like this trim, because it's not really that easy to glue with other things. So the only thing is, you got to be real sure where you want stuff to go, and I think that's it. I'll tidy that up a little bit there. Alright, I am about ready to put some titles on this. Let's see, I think I'll do a little row of hot glue for that too, because I don't think these stickers will stick any other way. I just always lay my stickers out over here on the side so I know how much room they take, and they're handy. And I can spell backwards that way. Oops. Okay. My title's going to be You and Me Together, because this alphabet I have used a lot of the letters, including all the E's, and so things like Valentine and love and stuff I couldn't make out of these letters, and I really wanted to use them. So I'm going to use the word you from here, and I have E's in this selection, so I'm going to do the me, and the ampersand from this is really, really pretty. So let's see. Okay, now I want to add some of these rhinestones. I buy these at Hobby Lobby in the jewelry department. They're very cheap. I'm going to hot glue them on, but for now let's lay a few of these out here and see where they're going to look good. A smaller one there probably. I feel like I need something right here and something down here, and I've still got to put the date on the layout. Obviously it's Valentine's Day, but I'd still like to date this. I don't know if I want some more bling down in here. Quite possibly. Get these glued on, and then I'll look for something to go there. Okay, what I've found to add is a couple of elements from the die cut pack that went with these tickets. And I've got a heart I'm going to put down here. And this was a label, and I've cut it in half because I want to use it over here, where I put the date on it with this Dear Lizzie date thing and date stamp, and I have I enjoy using this, but it took me a while to figure out the best way to use it. I saw a question the other day on 2Ps about this, and it was a problem that I had when I started using it. Whenever I would ink it up, I'd get ink all over the place. It wouldn't stamp really good. I'd have to kind of roll the stamp, and then it would put ink along the top or the bottom edges of my date. What I found worked was to use a marker. So rather than ink this with an ink pad, I just take my Stampin' Up! Marker, like I would any kind of stamp that I wanted to ink up individual pieces, and I just run that over the date, and then I can stamp it, and I can even roll it back and forth to be sure it gets all of the dates stamped. It's not a perfect image, but that's kind of the idea. It's not really meant to be a perfect image, but it will stamp it that way, and it's a lot easier to control if you use the marker. So I'm going to glue those items on, and I'm going to add a few more rhinestones. Okay, here's our completed page. Let's take a look at the sketch. I have the photo collage in the heart shape with a piece of designer paper. In this case, it was that transparency with the flocking on it, and then the journaling and title up here that I did from 3 different kinds of lettering. I added the date on this die cut and a couple of other die cuts as accents, and balanced on this side just with another one of the tickets. This trim, I did try it over here and it was way too much, so just the trim across here I thought was enough for my page. If it was a subtler trim, you might want to add some more up on this part. And that is my completed page. I did not need any additional vellum underneath this. This was opaque enough to where the design showed through without an extra piece underneath. So thank you for joining me. Please check out my blog for more information.